Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today, I am super pumped to present to us the SOG Bowie. This is the upgraded, more modern version of the original SOG Bowie 2.0 that originally launched the SOG company that we know today. Back in 1986 is when the SOG company, knife company that we know, came into existence, and they started out with the SOG Bowie 2.0, and then over the years they've modified it slightly, giving us a little bit newer materials than a leather stacked handle. Now you come with a craton handle, but other than that, almost exactly the same. And I'll just give you a little bit of history about the Tech Bowie and its design, particularly this super classic, awesome Bowie, blade design. SOG stands for Studies and Observation Group, which was a special forces group in Vietnam during the Vietnam conflict that went behind enemy lines, didn't really do a lot of studying or observation, did a lot more of basically disrupting enemy lines, communications, and putting terror into the Viet Cong and the Vietnamese army, North Vietnamese army, during the 60s and into the early 70s. So they were a special forces group. They had to sanitize all their gear. In other words, they couldn't have anything that was marked with U.S.-made markings or known to be carried by U.S. military. So they had a company in Japan contract out and design a knife for them. This is the Tech Bowie and also the Bowie 2.0 blade design. They also had the Recon Bowie, which we have previously already reviewed on the channel, which is also a great knife. But this Tech Bowie and its design came from basically a hands-on description of what our special forces guys over in Vietnam wanted. So they got this kind of blade design, awesome, and it lasted throughout the Vietnam War and then kind of became extinct. And then in '86, SOG picked it up and has been producing them in different forms ever since. So we're going to be looking at a field test today of this amazing full tang construction, very awesome, very capable survival / tactical blade. So let's get out there and begin a field test on this SOG Tech Bowie. All right, let's see how this SOG Tech Bowie can go ahead and go through heavy-duty nylon rope. You can see there, really nice. That hollow grind. I mean, it's going to go through your paracord, seat belt, webbing, whatever this knife you needed to go through with man-made materials. I mean, this thing is just going to easy, just like butter going through that paracord, heavy-duty nylon rope that we have here. Just awesome. You can see as I stab, this Tech Bowie was just designed to be a tactical operator's knife, man. I mean, I'm getting super deep penetration. You can see there it's got a reinforced, unsharpened swedge up there, so all the way to the tip. The tip is going to be reinforced, nice and thick, but super sharp. So it's going to stab and penetrate, get in there nice and deep. And then the handle guard right here, just awesome, and totally locked in. You're going to definitely be able to do a tactical stab, life-saving stab in a fighting situation or something like that, and you're totally locked in. I'm not worried about sliding down, hurting myself. This guard is awesome and just works really, really well in conjunction with the blade geometry and size and just how it's formed. I mean, that's just one wicked, sexy blade. The Tech Bowie is going to be a tactical knife to be sure. This Tech Bowie weighs 11.2 ounces, so you're going to get some pretty good heft in your swinging and in your cutting. The hollow grind is digging in really, really well. Real nice on this dried pine. Oh yeah. I've got about a 3-inch dead tree here I'm going at. You can see how well it's just getting right in there. Now, a thing to note, I do not have a lanyard because this lanyard hole is really sharp and jagged, and I've actually run 2 separate lanyards through there, and it's cut the paracord. So you're either going to want to file out that lanyard hole just with a small little file, or use a leather strap. You could just use a little leather strap and do a lanyard hole and run a lanyard that way. But that it has really jagged little corners in there, I guess, because it really cut through my paracord in like a minute. So I'm not going with a lanyard, which means it is kind of sliding out of my hand a little bit, so I got to re-choke. But you can see, man, I mean, that thing is just, that 11.2 ounces, awesome, awesome. All right, so that tree uprooted and fell. So, I mean, we got probably about a minute and a half, and we're already almost through this 3.5 inch dead pine tree. So I'll just finish the job for us here. Rotate a little bit. This tech buoy, man, it's definitely gonna chop better. You know, it weighs the same, but it is just with the lanyard hole, particularly if you have the lanyard. It's gonna chop better than your K-bar utility knife, even though it is kind of in that same kind of range. You know, it's gonna chop as well as say your SE6, your Rat 7. It's right in that ballpark. And it's gonna chop just as well as those other knives out there on the market. I'm sure. Oh yeah, man. Yep, there it goes. There we go. So, SOG Tech Bowie is an awesome chopper for its size and weight class. It can hold its own and can do anything any of those other right around 11, 12 ounce knives can do. Totally, you can do that with the SOG Tech Bowie. All right, so the Tech Bowie you can get with either a Kydex or a leather sheath. We're looking at the Kydex version today. Great sheath design, awesome quality that we would know from all of the other kind of SOG products, right in that exact same kind of line. Really nice, clicks into place with authority. There you go, nice and strong click. SOG written in right there. You got some lashing points for paracord and other things. You got a drainage hole, nice and slim too. You know, I like that it's not this big, huge pancake. You know, it's really nice and slim. I would have liked to see some rivets along the other side though, just bringing it in, you know, just make it really nice and slim, but just give us that other little side. Then you could really do some awesome, you know, lashings. You could use a tech lock, other stuff like that. And a tech lock could work on this thing. And then on the back here, you have the American Sportsman's products attachment, which is similar to a tech lock in its design, you know, that you can just slide this little door up, you put your belt through, and then you click it through, or other types of wider MOLLE. It's not going to fit through your average MOLLE, but you could lock that through on different types of MOLLE. And then you got your leg lanyard here as well. And then on the other side, you got, if you pull it out, you can see the good retention in there. You got a rubber strap that rotates with a plastic button. This used to be a steel button. It's been downgraded to a plastic button now for the handle retention. Honestly, you don't even really need it because of how strong that Kydex clicks in there, but you snap that over in place, boom, you're good to go. No rattle, you can hear that, nothing. That's awesome, really nice, silent. The only other thing I would note is that because the handle guard is right here, the problem is that when you pull it out and then try and pull it, you gotta really tug hard. There's nowhere to push off of the Kydex, you know, and pull at the same time. You just purely have to pull. So if you're carrying it on your hip, you really do have to have a leg lanyard, and that really helps out a lot. If you just are wearing this on your belt without a leg lanyard, it's gonna really be difficult, and you're basically gonna have to use your other hand and hold the Kydex as you pull the knife out. So that's the kind of only downside, is that when the blade is in place, the guard blocks the little thumb ramp, and you really can't get any leverage there, and you just purely have to try and pull it out. And obviously it's a strong Kydex sheath, so it's a little difficult to do that. So that's the only downside I would say to the Kydex sheath. Other than that, it's awesome, great, gonna last you a very long time. You can run it, you know, with, like I said, tech locks. And if you want to carry this horizontal, kind of scout style, you can unscrew the bolt right here, and then you could move it down to here, and then you could carry it horizontal along your belt as well, which is a cool little bonus on the Tech Bowie Kydex sheath. You can see how well this Tech Bowie is able to carve and whittle. I mean, it is amazing how thin I'm able to get these shavings. Even though it has a hollow grind, I mean, it is razor sharp, razor sharp, and very comfortable in my hand, even with this big guard that you see here. If I'm holding it back, I have a lot of control. I'm really surprised that I can really get in and get a lot of control. But what's awesome is that I can choke up. They give you an inch blank spot right here, and the bottom guard is really long, but the top guard's short. So I can lock my fingers like this and basically choke up, and now they've given me a finger choil, and then I can get super aggressive and really go to town on this piece of wood, get my carving and whittling done. And I mean, it is super comfortable. I'm not riding up against the edge, and my hand rests right there kind of in that little cup, and you could totally use this to get a fire started, you know, with your carving and whittling. The blade itself, from the guard to the tip, is 6.5 inches, and then the actual cutting edge is 5.5 inches. So a great just blade geometry for carving and whittling. I mean, it is awesome to use this thing in a carving situation. You can do it all day long, and it is so comfortable. Even with chest pulls, this Tech Bowie feels very comfortable in my hand. I'm getting my finger over the guard right there, cupping my hand just so well, and I can just go to town and do these type of chest pulls. You know, it's definitely not like a bushcrafter knife, but man, it is all around comfortable all the time, and is just a slicer and a dicer. Regardless if you're looking for, you know, the tactical operators type of blade, which I believe it can totally do, or you just want like a good survival knife, this thing is going to do it all for you. Be able to start your fire, be able to make, you know, tent pegs, stakes, whatever, make a booby trap, you know, if you're in the jungles of Vietnam fighting Charlie, or anything in between. This Tech Bowie is just so much fun to use and feels great in your hand. All right, let's take a look at the handle here on the Tech Bowie. It's made out of craton, which is a good, you know, pretty heavy duty material, not as good as micarta or leather stacking, but it is really resilient to moisture and water, which is really good. So you got really nice aggressive checkering all along. You got finger grooves along the back bottom end here. You got these two little white stripes, just kind of give you a little flair, a little pop, which is awesome. Just really well designed handle. You got a steel pommel back here with a little snap ring bolt that you can loosen. If this was ever to get loose or something, you could tighten it back down very easily with snap ring bolts, which is nice that you can do that, or if you need to clean it off or something, so you could take it in or off. It does have the lanyard hole, which is a plus, you know, and you're going to get more, you know, action than say like a K-bar utility knife, which is definitely what this kind of looks like because of the lanyard hole. But like we've talked about with the chopping, you need to kind of file that out or use a leather one because it's kind of jagged in there and has broken my paracord lanyards because of how sharp it is inside that little the lanyard hole. And then you got the steel guard as well, which is great. You know, it's not rubberized or plastic. It's a big heavy duty steel guard, and I wear large size gloves, and you can see how well it fits in my hand. I still got a little bit of room to spare even with these big heavy duty gloves on, and then just feels very comfortable in your hand. You can choke up for your carving, and this little guard right here isn't going to really hurt your hand because of how short it is and just how well they designed this kind of choke up right there with that finger choil. Is awesome. Just a great overall handle. And then if you want the leather stacking, you can also purchase that, which is even classier and even just more iconic in its design. And that one is just the normal SOG Bowie is what that one's called. But this one is the craton handled Tech Bowie. All right, everybody. So we're back here in the Gideon's Tactical compound. And just the last two times I've gone out on a trek and tested out the Tech Bowie, we just haven't found any good wood for batoning. So I'm going to have to go with just some dried out pine that we picked up, you know, a bunch of firewood, real nice, thick. But this is what we're going to have to use for batoning because the locations I've been at just don't have good wood for the batoning. Give you two quick specs here. You know, the steel on this SOG Tech Bowie is AUS 8 steel, made in Japan, and then the knife is put together in Taiwan. Just a great stainless steel. I love the coating that they put on it, and it is a 1/4 inch thick back here at the stock near the handle, and then it tapers down. You can see there, real nice and quick. So you're going to get the, you know, stabbing capability of a nice tactical Bowie style knife, but the thickness of basically a BK2 near the stock. So you're going to get a really good thick overall knife that can really baton really, really well. So let's go ahead and test it out here. We'll see how it does. Nice. Goes through that wood. Whoa, real nice, quick, easy. Very nice batoner, and you can definitely span some, you know, at 5.5 inches of actual cutting edge. I'm probably spanning about 3.5 inches right here of wood. Boom, going right through there. So I'm going to be able to get the kindling that I would need to for a fire. And even though it's a clip point design, this unsharpened swedge up here is nice and pretty thick and kind of gives a cup. So as I'm batoning, it doesn't damage my stick too badly in comparison to a lot of other knives on the market, even like a BK7. This is actually going to not damage your batoning stick that you're hitting with as much as even a BK7. So this thing could definitely, you know, get some kindling going, baton through a bunch of different wood. You know, it's not loosening up at all. And with that stainless steel steel bolster right here for the guard. I mean, even if you accidentally hit that, you know, as you're batoning, it's so strong, you're not gonna, you know, break the blade or damage the blade. So at a 1/4 inch thick, the SOG Tech Bowie with its AUS 8 steel is awesome, great batoner, and overall just a great wilderness blade. All right, everybody, so in conclusion, the SOG Tech Bowie, or its brother, the just Bowie, SOG Bowie, are amazing, amazing, collectible, usable knives. These things are just so amazing to hold in your hand. I really enjoy using them out here in the bush. You know, if you were an operator, you know, you're using it for a tactical self-defense. You know, it's light enough that you're going to be able to, you know, carry it without the weight, you know, at 11.2 ounces. You know, the Kydex or leather sheaths, the tinny finish has held up amazingly well. No scuffing on that tiny or tinny finish that they use. A super sexy blade. I mean, when you just look at it, it looks like steel sex, man. It is an awesome, awesome piece of machinery in your hand to use, and I would highly recommend the SOG Tech Bowie, or its brother, the SOG Bowie, here on Gideon's Tactical. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.